Hi guys, welcome to our Neet Biology Academy. I am your Dr. Mohan Angappan. Today, let us take up another question based on the diagram. So I told you 10% of the biology questions in the NEET are all diagram based questions. Now we are seeing the questions from the human physiology. So on that series, today let us take up another diagram based question from the chapter chemical coordination, that too in the hormonal action. Now let us come to the question. This is the diagram. You can see this is the diagram that you can see in your 11th NCERT book, page number 340. You can refer. This is the diagram and this is the question. Now let us look at the diagram. It is a cell membrane. It is the hormone. And then this is the receptor. This is the receptor. And this forms the hormone receptor complex. Response 1, generation of second messenger, biochemical response and physiological responses. So I told you the last video, the hormone action will be based on this hormone receptor complex. The hormone will combine with the receptor to form the hormone receptor complex. The receptor are of two types I told you. One is membrane bound, that is present in the membrane, and another type that will be inside the cell. Here you can see the receptor is in the membrane, on the membrane surface. So it is membrane bound. The receptor is membrane bound. And then this receptor takes the hormone and forms the receptor hormone complex in this stage, in the cell membrane itself, and then this complex comes inside and then forms the response 1. It cannot directly act upon the cell. It needs another mechanism, or it needs another messenger to help to do the work. So it generates a second messenger. It may be AMP, adenosine monophosphate, or calcium ions, mostly calcium ions. So the receptor hormone complex generates a second messenger system with the help of calcium or cyclic AMP, adenosine monophosphate. And then this second messenger helps to form the biochemical responses, and then it forms the physiological responses. This is the explanation of the diagram. Now let us take up the membrane bound receptors. Where the membrane bound receptors are present, they are present on the peptide hormones will have the membrane bound receptors. There are two types of hormones, one peptide hormone, another one steroid hormone. Here we are seeing that the receptor is membrane bound, so it may be a peptide hormone. So peptide hormone has the membrane bound receptors. This hormone cannot directly pass into the cell membrane because it is only water soluble and not fat soluble. The cell membrane is made up of bilipid layer. So this hormone is not fat soluble, and so they cannot enter into the cell directly. The receptors are formed on the membrane and so secondary messenger or second messenger system is present here. Examples for these peptide hormones are the pituitary hormones. Pituitary, pituitary is the gland. It has the two parts, adenohypophysis and neurohypophysis. Adenohypophysis secretes 3 hormones and neurohypophysis secretes another 3 hormones. The neurohypophysis secretes 3 hormones. They are called as gonadotropins, LH, luteinizing hormone, luteotrophic hormone, follicle stimulating hormone. Otherwise, the pituitary has got 2 parts, I told you, adenohypophysis and neurohypophysis. The adenohypophysis secretes 6 hormones, out of which the 3 LH, LTH and FSH are gonadotrophic hormones, and the neurohypophysis, other part of the pituitary, secretes ADH or vasopressin and oxytocin. And other examples for peptide hormones are insulin and glucagon. So now we have come to the understanding of this diagram. Now let us come to the question. First question, the first option, the hormone cannot be a neurohypophysis hormone. The hormone cannot be a neurohypophysis hormone. Since it is peptide hormone, how can we see? This is membrane-bound receptors. They cannot directly enter into the cell. They form secondary messenger. So it is a peptide hormone. Examples for peptide hormones, I told you, LH, LTH and FSH, ADH and oxytocin are all the hormones formed by the neurohypophysis, pituitary. So this hormone can be a neurohypophysis hormone. So first option is wrong. Cannot be is wrong. Second option, calcium ions are the first messenger for the hormone. You can see here, after forming the hormone receptor complex on the membrane, it forms the first response, and the first response takes the or induces the generation of the second messenger. For example, calcium. So calcium is the second messenger and not the first messenger. So it is also wrong. Third option, the hormone directly enter the target cell to produce its action. So here the hormone cannot enter the cell directly because it is a membrane-bound receptor. It forms a membrane-bound receptors and then it enters the cell. So this third option is also wrong. The fourth option, the hormone is secreted by pancreas. You know, the pancreas is both exocrine and endocrine. It's called as a exocrine gland and also as a endocrine gland based on this action. By secreting the pancreatic juice, it is an exocrine gland. By secreting hormones like insulin and glucagon, it is a endocrine gland. So for this you must know the examples for the peptide hormones, the pituitary hormones and insulin and glucagon. So insulin and glucagon are secreted by the islets of Langerhans present on the pancreas. Islet of Langerhans has got 2 types of cells, beta cells and alpha cells. Beta cells secrete insulin and alpha cells secrete glucagon. So the pancreas secretes insulin and glucagon by the islets of Langerhans, beta and alpha cells on the pancreatic gland. So this option you can see the hormone is secreted by pancreas. So this pancreas secretes insulin and glucagon. So they are the examples of peptide hormone. Since we have found that this hormone is a peptide hormone, this option is correct. So the hormone is maybe insulin or glucagon, because they are the examples for peptide hormones. They are secreted by the pancreas. So the fourth option is the correct option. So we have arrived at the right answer that the hormone is secreted by the pancreas. Even though the hormone is a peptide hormone, there is no word here that it is a peptide hormone. It's an indirect question. You have to find out the answer by knowing the examples. So to summarize, the hormone cannot be a neurohypophysis hormone because neurohypophysis secretes LTH, LH, etc. etc. Then calcium ions are the first messenger? No. Second messenger. The hormone directly enter the target cell? No, it cannot enter the target cell. It forms an hormone receptor complex in the membrane and then enters. Fourth option, the hormone is secreted by pancreas. So pancreas secretes insulin and glucagon, the examples of the peptide hormones or protein hormones. So the fourth option is the right. So by taking this diagram, we have explained the characteristic features of the peptide hormone. What are the characteristic features of peptide hormone? One, they have got membrane bound receptors. The receptors are present on the surface of the membrane. They are water soluble and not fat soluble. Since they are not fat soluble, they cannot directly enter into the cell. So they need generate second messenger, cyclic AMP or calcium ions. The receptors are present on the surface of the membrane, and then it forms the hormone receptor complex on the surface and then enters to generate the second messenger system, calcium ions or cyclic AMP, and then they form the biochemical responses to generate cellular metabolism in the cell, and finally it produces the needed physiological responses based on the hormone. So second messenger system is present. So two important points to remember here: membrane bound receptors, water soluble, not fat soluble, and then cannot cross the cell membrane. Internal receptors, intracellular receptors, second messenger system is present. These 5 points you have to remember with the examples. So we have finished another question, diagram based question, the mechanism of hormone action in the chapter chemical coordination. In the forthcoming videos, we will take up some questions based on the diagram to circulatory system. Another thing I want to tell you, dear students and parents, the CBSE has announced that 30% of the portions are reduced, and that is only for the board examination. Even for the present 11th, those who are going for the 11th standard, for them the syllabus 30% of the syllabus is reduced in 11th, and those who are going for 12th also 30% of the syllabus is reduced. That is only for the examination, board examination. For the Neet examination, they have not told anything. That cannot be told by the CBSE. That has to be told by NTA. So for the Neet aspirants, they have to study the whole portions of the 11th and 12th NCERT. It is, by the way, for the information to the Neet aspirants. So let us take up another diagram based MCQ. So I am concentrating on diagram based because 10% of the questions are from the textbook diagrams. We have to identify the parts or anything as we have seen here. So next video we will take up 2 questions from the circulatory system. Till then, thank you very much.